Back to the channel, or welcome if this is the first time you've come. My name is Eric, and I try to make it a fun channel as well as an educational channel. So today what I thought we'd talk about is when is a good time to deworm cattle. And what I do is I don't have any of the catch blocks that if you're handling a lot of head or you bring them in, can hold them, do their vaccinations, castrations, and worming all in one shot, and then kick them loose, bring the next one in. Mine run free range here. I've got the cattle gates where I can set them up to get them into a corral, but that's as far as I can go, you know, that for loading them onto the trailer if they're going to the sale or going up to the butcher shop. So what I do instead is I use the block. Now the block, I get a Tractor Supply, and I'll show it up here, picture of it up here. And what I do is one block will effectively treat 8 cows. So I've got 40 head in here, for roughly 35 that are classified as cows because they're at least 600 pounds. So I'm looking at 5 blocks to effectively treat the cows. And when is a good time to do it? Well, I have it all part of my health package for the animals. So what I do consistently is every fall I put out enough to treat them all, and then again in the spring. Those are the 2 time periods. Cows coming off their feed in the fall, the grasses to start going on to hay, and then in the spring, the dampness, the wetness, the stagnant water that's being run, manure. For me, it's preventative care, because I've seen where if you get worms in the cattle, it will kill them. You know, a friend of mine doesn't live a couple miles down the road. Last year he had a problem where he had lost 4 cows and he couldn't figure out why, and he stopped to ask, you know, what did I think? And I said, well, I mean, from the sound of it, it sounds like your cows have got worms. And I said, the best thing you can do right now is go get some blocks, put them with the rest of your 50, 60 head that he had there, and see what happens. He lost 3 more, but that was within a couple days. You know, the blocks they were too far the other direction. So for me, I mean, they're right around 60 bucks a piece. 5 times 6 is 300. So I'm looking at, for my herd, it's $300 in the spring, and then another $300 in the fall. And I very rarely have problems with worming here. Once in a while you'll see like mangy blotches around their back, and that if I start seeing that early fall, I'll treat them earlier. But twice a year is when they get hit. And whether you're using the block or the liquid, read the directions on the back where it says do not send this animal to slaughter. And that means do not send it to the sale barn either until after the holding period. I think it's like 11 or 12 days for it to go through their system. Now, if you have the catch blocks where you can corral them up through and block them off, I would go with using the liquid. And what I had tried in the beginning, because I was trying to go with the liquid, was I took a Dawn dishwasher container with a squeezy kind with a clip on the top. Anyways, I would take and I would fill that up, and I put the grain down to them, and then I would try to run it down each one of their backs, and that worked for about 80% of them. The other 20, the minute they see you coming at them with anything, take right off. If you have a way to hold them steady for a minute just to run it down their backs, that's, for me, I think that's a lot better way to do it. You know, right now I'm not willing to spend the $5 grand and up on, you know, corral system. I will once I get a barn in place for them. Or I can run them into the barn and then into stanchions or something like that to hold them. But for now, this is the way I do it. Since we're on animal health, I thought, Kevin had brought up pink eye. And pink eye is very contagious in cattle. And I found that out quickly 2 years ago. I had a bunch of Holstein heifers. And I had bought 2 at the sale barn, not realizing that they had pink eye. And it wasn't until a few days later when I started seeing a little bit of a blindness. And you'll see it start to around their eye. And for me, the treatment was I had to take this syringe with penicillin and I would squirt it in both of their eyes. And then I had a spray that was pink eye spray. And I had to tag each one of my animals. I ended up having, I think, one that ended up going blind in one eye from it. If it goes untreated, they will go blind. So that's one of the things, like with worms and pink eye, those are both things you can bring into your herd that will cause health issues. So you really got to consider when you're buying, let's say at the sale barn, what kind of animals they are. Good chances are they're there for a reason. Whether they're off their feed, they're sick, something is, not right when they're running them through for beef. I used to buy a lot that way, and I don't anymore because if you're going to buy that way, the best thing you can do is if you have like a holding pen in the barn, run them into that, have them there for a week, treat them anyways with penicillin in the hip just in case for anything, because they could get shipping fever, to have pneumonia, to pink eye, bullworms, you name it. But if this is helping you at all, if you're getting anything out of the content, if you could like and subscribe down below, it would really help our channel. And leave in the comments section, some things maybe you've run into or something you didn't know that you'd like to know. And we'll do a video on it. Like I say, I'm no expert. I'm just a old-time farmer with old-time ways. And just trying to make a living at it. But I'll catch you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope to see some comments left so we can discuss some other things. Alright, talk to you later.